Welcome to another episode of Follow the Brand TV. I am your host, Grant McGaugh, CEO of 5-Star BDM, a 5-star personal brand and business development company. I want to take you on a journey through another deep dive into the world of personal branding and business development using compelling personal stories, business conversations, and tips to improve your brand. By listening to the Follow the Brand TV series, you will differentiate yourself from the competition and build trust with prospective clients and employers. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. Make it one that will set you apart, build confidence, and reflect who you are. Building your 5-star personal brand is a great way to improve your skills and knowledge. If you have any questions for me or any of my guests, please email me at grant.mcgaugh@5starbdm.com. Now, let's begin with our next episode on the Follow the Brand TV.
Five-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
Oregon's it's a beautiful state, and we've talked before this. And I came from California originally, so it's golden hills compared to lush green forest. So it's a beautiful state. It's very beautiful. Understand how to take your what you know in the real world as a human and what you know about your business. And you need to marry that with the algorithm. You need to combine human with machine learning. I was always attracted to the psychology, behind digital marketing and why do people do the things they do, but then it's quantifiable, right? So then you can attach revenue to it, right? And it's if I can understand and get to the mind of different segmentations, then I can start to show them things that will get them to buy the product that I'm trying to show. And to me, that's just fascinating. That is amazing that you can do that.
Welcome, everybody, to Follow Brand Podcast. I get it out, and this is the first time. I think it's the first time I've gone all the way out to the West Coast in the Northwest, in the Oregon area. If you've ever been out to that part of the country, it's beautiful. It really, really is, especially when the coastline is so green. You got these giant trees. It just looks like it's fresh air. When I go to the Northeast, I think fresh air. Now, I'm down here in Miami, Florida. We get some fresh air, but it's different because it's very flat. There, you got a lot of hills, you've got mountains, you got mountain tops, they even got volcanoes. It's just a different experience. And we're going to enjoy that experience. It's early morning for Brenton. Brenton Thomas is out there. But he said, no, Grant, see what you do. I want to come up on your podcast. We're going to talk about brand mastery. We're going to talk about digital marketing in today's age because AI has changed the game. And we want to talk to a game changer who's been doing this for a long time. So, Brenton, introduce yourself.
Yeah. Thanks for having me today. Yeah, Oregon's it's a beautiful state, and we've talked before this. And I came from California originally, so it's golden hills compared to lush green forest. So it's a beautiful state. It's very beautiful. But yeah, for myself, my name is Brenton, and so I run a digital marketing agency. It's called Twibi, and it's basically my first, last name, and middle initial, all combined with some I's in there to basically form the name Twibi. And been in business for about 3 years, and then before that in corporate for about 6 years. So about 9 years in digital marketing, running Google ads, Facebook ads, SEO, and email marketing for clients.
Let's talk about Twibi. At first, I like the name. That's catchy. It's got a good sound to it. When you hear it, you look at it, you're not really sure how it sounds. When you hear what it sounds like, Twibi, that's catchy. I like that. So some creativity on your part. Talk to me about your career journey. I mean, you're in California, you're doing your thing, you're doing this for 3 years, but what has attracted you to this kind of business?
Oh, so I was always attracted to the psychology, behind digital marketing and why do people do the things they do. But then it's quantifiable, right? So then you can attach revenue to it, right? And it's like, well, if I can understand and get to the mind of different segmentations, then I can start to show them things that will get them to buy the product that I'm trying to show. And to me, that's just fascinating. That is amazing that you can do that.
You brought up something. I want our artists to truly understand this. A lot of times you think of brand marketing, they think objectively. They're looking at the visuals. They're seeing all the creativity, but it's very subjective in the business. You've got to do some brand identity. You've got to do some self-awareness, some self-actualization. If it's a personal brand or business brand, you really got to step back, do almost like some soul searching. What is it that we're trying to accomplish? And why is this important to our clients? Because it's really all about solving the business of a client. And what you're trying to do is try to make that happen. How do you feel? What's your philosophy around brand marketing?
Yeah, so working with clients, usually the client doesn't have their brand identity fully developed. At least some of the smaller clients that we tend to work with. We do work with some medium-sized companies, and they also don't have the best grasp for their brand identity. So we'll actually create personas, and these personas are very specific, right? So we usually choose about three different personas, and we'll give them a name and what they do for work and their activities. We'll also assign like a picture of what that person looks like. And then once we have our three personas, then we'll create campaigns that speak to that specific person. And we'll refer to them as like Dave and Jessica and like in our meetings or over all the week. So we'll say, well, this didn't really speak to Jessica, right? And Jessica is a mom that stays at home. She's into fitness, and we're trying to promote your supplement product to her. So I think that really helps shape the conversation, not only for myself, but for the client as well.
Man, what you brought up again, that is, I want our artists to truly understand, especially if you're developing business. And we have a lot of business owners that tune in to the Follow Brand podcast, entrepreneurs or people are looking to get into entrepreneurship. There's a lot of career development or people in their careers, and they're understanding the digital aspects in branding yourself as well as branding your business and understanding your target audience. That is what I got out of what you just said. You must understand the audience first. A lot of people, they think about their business. They're like, all right, what do I do? And how do I get that message out there? And how does that resonate? But however, your business only exists because of the audience. And understanding the audience and what you said, hey, you know what, that persona for Bill, that resonated with Bill. Bill was on there. Now, if that is your major revenue target, maybe that's great. However, you got to understand, Sally didn't get that. She's moving on, and understanding like where do you want to sit in the audience's mindset and their need analysis, where does that all go? And those are some of those challenges and solutions. I want to skip to this question because it's so important. What we're talking about now really is about how to hire a professional, why you need to hire a professional, because there's a lot of things you just don't know behind the scenes of why do I need to involve Twibi as an agency, not just to have me some great graphics, to truly, define my business. Help us understand that.
Yeah. So I think especially like we take paid ads, right? So you're spending money inside of Facebook ads or you're spending money inside of Google ads. And if you're not sure what you're doing, you can spend a lot of money really quickly and by accident. And so I'll give you a story. This is early in my career. So this was maybe 7 years ago. So I was about 2 years into digital marketing. And I created all these campaigns and I put placeholder text in all the campaigns because I needed to speak to my manager. This is back when I was in corporate. And so I put place, so I just put test in all the headline of the ad, and I put test in the description. And then I moved on to work on some other parts of the campaign. So I'm working on like the campaign settings, getting the budgets right, et cetera, right? And so because I was newer in my career, I just didn't press the pause button on the campaign. So I went to bed that night and it spent some money. It spent like $400. And I woke up the next morning. I was so disappointed, you know. But it's little things like that. If you're not used to being in the ad account, little mistakes can happen. They're very, very basic mistakes, but it can lead to very costly outcomes. And I was lucky that I caught it the next day. If I had set that on a Friday and I went on Monday, I showed up, that could have been thousands of dollars. So little mistakes like that, an expert will definitely catch that. It won't even be an issue. But you really got to know what you're doing in there.
That's the whole thing. People, again, you're thinking more of the brand assets, that I would say, but it is the application, the processes, the methodology, and the understanding of platform. There's all kinds of different platforms. And then you have to understand, going back to what I said earlier about your target audience, what is your platform? Where does your audience hang out? If you're developing, hey, you know what? I like Google Ads. I enjoy Google Ads. Well, that's good for you and what you're doing. And it's like, you're engaging with that. However, your target audience, depending on what you're doing, may be more on a different kind of platform. Maybe they're on Pinterest. You didn't know. Maybe they're TikTok people. Maybe they're LinkedIn. And it's not a complete change of your identity, but it is a change in how you actually present yourself. Would you agree with that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it could be, so they could be on a number of different platforms. And then let's say you've identified that maybe they do search very specific keywords in Google. And then now you need to figure out within Google now, what audiences do I choose? Which keywords do I choose to get to that subsection of an audience of a larger audience within the platform that you know that they'll be in. So you can get so granular, you just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper.
And this is important. This is the difference. Like before, let's just back up 20 years before mobile computing, before social media. What was your methodology? The methodology was, you know what? I'm going to open business. Typically, you're thinking about, I'm going to open an office. I got to get my brick and mortar out there, right? I'm going to do mailers. I'm sending out mailers to, maybe I'm getting the yellow pages. You get some kind of database of clients with addresses and you send it out. Then email came like, I'm buying email addresses. And now I'm sending out, you're starting to get into that, what I call the digital journey. You're moving into that digital journey. Now, some people are still at that same digital journey of just email campaigns. And there's nothing wrong with that, but man, people have caught up to email. Sometimes your email is going to get caught up in spam. Your email is going to get caught up in all these other things. You're competing with all kinds of different messaging. Then it morphed into social media. I remember when Facebook first came out, people weren't thinking about, how are they going to make money? It's free. I'll use it, but I don't know how they're going to actually make money. Well, as more and more people adopted the platform, then you have advertisers like, hey, here's where my audience is. They're in Facebook. I know where they're at. So now I'm going to target them with my advertisement. And now people moved into mobile computing. Where are they at? They're on their mobile. They're not just on desktop anymore. I've got to now craft message. Now there's more than Facebook out there. There's all kinds of different things. And now we're on the verge of virtual world, and how that's going to look more immersive. How do I get more immersive? All these things are impacting marketing. How do you see the impact now with, as we all know, the big elephant in the room, AI? AI is a game changer because it can create brand assets. I would say faster, not always better, but faster. I can get some digital content out there. How are you seeing this big change going on in marketing? How's that affecting your business?
And so our whole thing is about how we humanize the brand. So the brand acts as an individual when you start to pull in the essence of the people and communicate that effectively with the brand. And then, of course, the technology, like I said, that's just sort of the ability to scale. How do I scale that? And I look at that as being able to bring together influential leaders and have them focus for 3 to 5 days in international areas and really provide them with the tools and the resources and the support so that they can have greater impact in their community.
Branding has got to play a key role here, because if you have an enormous effort, it consists of grants, volunteering, energy goals, ESG reports. All that is impossible to communicate. And so what you need is branded signature programs, and to carry the flag, to communicate what you do, to inspire, to guide. Another brand involved. You got to use these signature brands to enhance the business by building the business brand, by giving it an energy lift, an image lift, and an engagement lift. And when you do that, the business now can view your program, whether it's internal or external. You can move your program as a partner, something that doesn't have to justify its funding each year, something that's really going to become part of your business strategy, and therefore it will grow and thrive and be more healthy in a long term.
Yeah. So, when you were referring to like mailers and you moved into email and people are getting the digital now AI, I think of Gary Vee, right? And
Okay.
so, I listened to his videos and he's saying that he used to get like 5 cent clicks in Facebook ads, right? And now that would be like $1.10, right? So it's exponentially grown. But he's grown an empire because he was an early adopter into Facebook. And so now leading into the future and going into AI, it's like you have to be an early adopter, you know? It's like the people who are adopting, things like AI and really learning about it, I think truly it'll create the next set of billionaires. You have to know how to leverage it. It's going to be really important. And so for me and my team, we're in there every day. We're trying to figure out how to leverage it. And what we do use it for our client work, we use it for ourselves as well. But it's just a really good starting point. It's not the final product by any means whatsoever. If we're using it for client work, it'll spit something out, and usually we'll copy and paste like the whole page that we're trying to reference, and we'll say, write something around this topic. The goal is X, Y, Z. Try to keep it under X amount of words because it likes to ramble. And then once it spits something out, that's draft one. And then we edit it, and then the client edits it, and then it's nothing like the original when it first provided the text.
That's it. It's an enablement tool. I like that analogy. You probably now is like, you know what? Prompt engineering is a thing now. You've got to know how to speak to the LLM, the large language model. That's the big word, the AI engine, because what you put into is what you're going to get out. And to your point, you have to understand its nuances. It likes to ramble. Well, right now, text is not what you would call what it once was, meaning king. You don't need a lot of text. People are more visual. You've got attention span. People are scrolling a lot faster. So you're not going to sit there and have a ton of text and nobody's reading that. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, yeah. I think organic social media trains us to have an attention span of 15 seconds or less. Did you entertain me in 15 seconds? Yeah, no, you didn't. Okay, time to move on.
What you said there, the entertainment factor. When you think about marketing, it's infotainment, right? You've got to draw people in, some of a gamification type of atmosphere, and that type. So when I think about, I'm going to put on my client, and if I'm a client, my audience is sitting there like, you know what? I get marketing emails all the time. I get people that always saying, "Hey, I can do SEO for you. I can improve your YouTube feeds. I can do this. I can do that." Why would somebody want to hire Twibi for their work?
Yeah. So our focus for our agency, it's all about return on ad spend. So ROAS, and so it's the ratio between what your revenue was divided by your costs, right? So it spits out a number. So basically, your return on ad spend could be something like for every $2 you spend on ads, you got $4 back, and so that'd be a 200% return, right? And so it's hard to if you don't have any expertise within digital marketing, it's hard to get a good return out of your digital marketing campaigns. And so our agency is specifically focused on just revenue because that tends to be what most of our clients are focused on. That's what a business is usually a for-profit business is built on is revenue. And so we put together the ad copy. We don't actually design the creative, but we'll give instruction on how that creative needs to look to fit the persona. Budget allocations. So there's just a lot that goes into it. And I would say, we've been around other digital marketing agencies, and my impression is that they tend to be less technical than our agency, like how to leverage the human with the machine learning in the platforms and how do those two work together to get the outcome of revenue.
Help me understand through like a case study or somebody that you work with, because I like the idea of the revenue aspect. I've heard so many stories like, you know what? Marketing is a black hole. I spent X amount of thousands of dollars. I did not get a return on my investment. I didn't get a direct return or indirect return. I didn't see more business leads. I didn't see more prospect. I didn't see that coming back in the door, like say, "Hey, I need to do business with you." Take us through a story where you had some success.
Yeah, so we have a good amount of food and beverage clients, specifically the wine, spirits industries. And so we have a client that's in the spirits industry, and so it always takes a minute, right, to like figure out the right formula, the right account build out that produces revenue. And so we start working with them. They're it's I'm trying to think of the type of alcohol it is. It's like um, it's made out of cocoa leaves. What you would use for
Yeah.
cocaine, basically, but
Yeah.
it doesn't give that same high.
Right. Right. Like coffee. There's a lot of things made out of caffeine, so I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's already it's a pretty unique product, and then they had a partnership. They currently still do with Resident Evil, and so we launched ads, and we're getting around like a one ROAS, so like a 1-to-1 return, which isn't the best. You're basically breaking even on your ads, but your cost of goods puts you in the negative, and then you have our agency fee. And so typically, what we do is we start with like a base campaign that's wide reaching. It targets quite a few different people around the United States, but it's highly focused on the brand and the partnership, since they had a partnership to focus on. And so we let that run for a bit, and we're making slight tweaks, adjustments to it, and we can get like a 3 ROAS, right? So we're starting to build up the performance. The client's starting to make a nice return on their budget, and they're starting to make money. And then we'll look into that main campaign that's been running, and we'll start to then segment it out, right? So we'll start to say, well, who's really looking at these ads? Like, what states do these people live in? What is it, male, female? Is it mostly? And if anyone's familiar on this podcast listening, like Resident Evil is a video game. It's very violent. It tends to be, I hate to say, more male focused, not to stereotype or anything. And so then off that main campaign, then we'll start to build like these very unique segments off of that. So now we'll create males living in California, right? Because we see a lot of sales coming off that main campaign, and we start to create all these little branches of these unique campaigns that are, and then the next campaign we're working on currently is for gamers, right? Male gamers. So we can see all that data, and then that allows us to really scale the ad account. We have all these unique campaigns running, and we can start to spend more without diminishing return.
Now, so that's important. I want people to understand this also, that marketing is a lot of it is around metrics and data. It's a data-driven industry. And understanding the data is so important. And not just the visuals and everything. That's all great, but you've got to target it to the right people. So you've got to be looking at these numbers all the time and understanding the trends. What are the trends at? Where are people, where is the herd moving? Where are they at? And then the why. Why is somebody tuning into this particular ad as opposed to this one? Because you might I see this all the time. It's like, you know what? I create something like, man, I love this, right? And you put it out there, but then you didn't do what they call A/B testing, right? Or having something that, that was green, and you might put something out as blue. You might not understand what blue, green or blue, which one people like the best if you're not doing testing. But that's what a scientist does. So I'm almost thinking like brand marketing, you're almost a data scientist, Brenton. Would you agree with my assessment?
Yeah, I definitely would say so. And what's amazing with digital marketing is you get the data back so quickly that you're telling the business, like I'm telling my clients, like, hey, I noticed that when I use this messaging for your brand with this creative, it's working really well to the point that I think you should add it to your website, right? And they don't have that insight. They had no idea. And then we can see the conversion rate on other pages on the website because we're starting to emulate what's working in ads for a very specific audience that has money.
Follow the Brand TV broadcast host, Grant McGaw, as he visits with top executives and entrepreneurs to find out their secrets of success with their personal brand. Follow the Brand TV broadcast host as he focuses on brand development to build better relationships, bring value to your business, relationships, and career. You will enjoy listening to each episode that is tailored to speak to you directly. If you're looking for this type of clarity in terms of building your brand, You have tuned into the right station. Each episode will help you to shape a conversation in the 5-Star BDM network of 20,000 professionals and become a springboard for your corporate engagement and business opportunities. Each guest will frame their story in the areas of personal branding, business development, career development, financial empowerment, and technology innovation. Grant McGaw explains why he is the CEO and owner of his own professional career. Grant is an accomplished business leader and entrepreneur who wants to give back to individuals to grow their personal brand strategy. Tune in as he weaves his story about new possibilities, while to you exceed expectations. If you love storytelling, this show will make for fun.
5-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
So this is important. Understanding the difference between organic work. So a lot of companies, especially when you're starting out, they have low budget, right? You're getting things going, you're a startup, or maybe you're even 4 or 5 years into your business. Understanding the difference between DIY, doing it yourself, and organic reach as opposed to ad reach, and understanding when you need to do organic, because it's not like a either or one's bad, one's good. It's understanding when to do something more organic or have maybe, like you were saying earlier, a lower budget, and then when to double down. Hey, we need to double down on this. Help us understand that philosophy.
Yeah, yeah. And basically it depends on your goals, right? So I always like to quantify goals. Like we have to know where we want to go and where we want to head. And then we work backwards from that goal. And so once we've quantified that goal, and if we're starting to reach or be on track, we're getting incremental gains every week. We see little increases that are leading us towards the goal. Then we know we can start to scale up. And organic, so let's take organic social media. Our agency used to offer that service, and it's just too unpredictable. And it just wasn't something that we could see the incremental gains, right? Like we would post for a client the most basic video, it does really well, right? And then we put something more provoking, and we put more time into some other creative, and it just doesn't perform. And so that's the main reason why we really focus on paid. These platforms, Facebook, Instagram, they want you to pay to play, obviously, and so it's just not worth fighting the algorithm and trying to understand what's going to go viral because it's so unpredictable.
If I understand what you said there, pay to play, meaning let's say you do organic. You've got YouTube, you've got your Facebook, you've got LinkedIn, but you're just doing organic. You're just posting things out there for an audience. But the algorithm, correct me if I'm wrong, the algorithm is coin operated. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, it tends to be. Yeah. It's just when you try to post something on our organic social media, it just you can try to recreate your formula, try to get whatever worked last time. And let's say you got good engagement last post, you try to duplicate it. At least from my experience with the clients I've been working with, and even for our own business, it's just not repeatable. And that's not to say that I'm sure there's a lot of influencers in this world and they built their brands organically. But for us, even for our own agency, we just prefer to just pay to play. And I know everyone doesn't have the budget to run paid ads, but
give us a little bit of because this is important. This is another big thing. I hear what he's saying, I got it. But I don't have this unlimited war chest of dollars to figure this out and pay. Because, and I remember talking to some brand masters that have been on the program before, like you've got to first find out what's working and then invest in that, doubling down in that. So, you know what, this is working. Now we want to, put our dollars where this creative is working and the platform, because all these platforms are a little bit different. How do you advise clients on how to actually allocate their budget?
Yeah. So, okay. So I always say to a client, we need to spend at least 1,500 per month, which I know for a smaller business that can be a decent amount of money. And the reason I say 1,500, and that's spread over two campaigns at the most. And the reason I say 1,500 is there's something called learning mode, right? And these platforms, they have a period where, like let's take Facebook, for example, Facebook ads. There's a period where you launch a new campaign and it needs to reference historical data to understand who to show ads to in the future, right? So it needs to build up, it needs to learn, and the algorithm needs to collect data. But for that algorithm to collect that data, it has to spend budget, right? That's the only way it can get the data. It has to spend the money, and then it learns as it spends money. And so in order to get out of learning mode, you need to spend a certain amount. And 1,500, sometimes you don't even exit learning mode, but it learned enough to reach the result that you want. So I always tell clients at least 1,500 per month.
That's important. We need to understand how the machine works. Just like anything else, if you don't put gas in your car, it's not going to go very far. And then you understand how much money do I need to put, how much gas do I need to put in my vehicle to get to where I want to go, right? And I don't think we've really understood that on a whole, understanding how this works. We're trying to fight the machine, but the machine is built for a certain way. Like I need premium gas to operate, the vehicle, but also to get to where you want to go. So if you spend 1,500, are we expecting a return? And a lot of this might be time based. Like, when you spend 1,500 a month, you're expected to get within maybe 3 to 6 months a return of X. That's some of the pitch that you do?
Yeah, I'll give you a real example. So we just started working with a client. They're a coffee company in Charleston. And so I told them 1,500 because they're mostly focused on retail, and this is kind of like a test for them. And for our agency, we just want to prove, like we don't do long contracts. We just want to prove based on performance, and it's a month-to-month contract. And well, you typically give us at least 2 to 3 months, and then after that, it's month to month, and we can pretty much prove ourselves by the third month, definitely by the third month. And so I told them, 1,500 is the minimum we need to spend. And so in that first month, the algorithm's doing so much learning that it's running really rough. That's pretty consistent. That first month is not a good return. So off that first 1,500, we probably got it back about $1,000, right? So it's definitely a loss for the business.
No, he said you got back $1,000. That's $1,000 in what? In new business, in new leads, or how do you quantify that $1,000?
Yeah, it's e-commerce revenue.
E-commerce,
so actual purchases on the website.
Actual sales. Got it.
Yeah. So that's like, I think it was like around a 0.7 ROAS or something, like 0.6 ROAS. So we at least want to be 1-to-1, right? To at least break even from what we spent on ads, and we want to get that back at the very least. So it's a loss. And then going into the second month, we're still stuck in limited learning. This is in Facebook ads. It's called limited learning. So it didn't fully learn, but it learned enough to the point that going into our second month, we got a 2.9 ROAS. So for every $2 or
explain ROAS. What does that stand for?
Yeah, it's a return on ad spend.
Got it.
Yeah. So basically that's in this example, for every $1 we spend on ads, we got $2.90 back. So at that $1,500, that's I can't do the math in my head, but almost $4,400 off the 1,500, right? So now we're starting to make like decent profit. It covers my costs as an agency. It covers your COGS, your cost of goods, covers the ad spend and the ad account.
Yeah.
And it's still learning, right? It's still learning. It's still getting better. And then going into next month, now it's at 3.1, and went from a 2.9 ROAS. So 3.1. So for every $1 we spend, we're getting $3.10 back now. And so
Yeah.
that's the pattern that you should expect if you're doing it the right way, with Google ads and Facebook ads.
No, and that's quantifiable. That's very quantifiable. It's such an easier conversation to have with the chief marketing officer or CEO, whoever the business owner is. Like, okay, we're going to start this way. This is the playbook that we have, and this is what we're going to do, and this is how we're going to measure success. I'm telling you right now, we're going to run this play as 1,500. We're not going to get this back, immediately, but we're going to keep running it. But we're using now machine learning. Now, all these are buzzwords, people: machine learning, ML, AI, artificial intelligence. These are a lot of these, like they always think that AI is a chatbot, but it's more than that. That's just one application within an AI model. But how do you now? Because this is the new business model. As we talked about before, how we did business in the 80s, 90s, before digital. How do we get return on investment? How do we get the machine to work for us? That's what we want it to do. And we can't do it on, we can't just bang out a bunch of phone calls, right? Can't just bang out a bunch of emails and get that kind of ROI. But when people get scared because they haven't done it before, like, all right, 1,500, wow. But when you talk about your cost and all the other stuff, you probably was more than that. What's your initial investment? How do you get all that back? Now, you just told us the formula for success. Now, here's another question. How do you tell a client that their baby is ugly? Meaning, you got this website, you got this e-commerce, you got this form. You want me to take this and make it into, a beauty queen. How do you do that?
Yeah, it can be a tough conversation. And so if the website is like, let's take the website specifically, for example, if the website looks really terrible, what I'll do, and the website's really important, right? It doesn't matter if you're doing email marketing, they got to go to the website. If you're doing organic social media, they most likely need to go to your website. So it's the hub of everything that you do. So it's extremely crucial. And so if it's not looking right, I'll typically tell the client that I just don't think the conversion rate is going to be what we hope. And so I'd love to, and I don't charge extra for this. I'll give like a list of bullet points. And so it's constructive feedback. Like before, I tell them anything about the website, I already have a list of thoughts. So it's more focused on solutions than, knocking down. I'm sure they worked hard on it. I'm not, trying to take away from that. But it turns the conversation more into like a positive, constructive criticism instead of I don't like this, I hate this over here. They're like, why'd you do this? Who are you speaking to? So instead it's here's what we need to do to get to a place where the website's good enough for us to launch digital marketing.
Yeah, you got to have an evolution, and there's different things. If you're trying to roll out a new service, or you're doing it in a different way, or even if you're changing agencies, because you've done it a certain way, and maybe that worked for that period of time. But anytime you roll out anything different, and I've done this, and I've seen like, wow, I've got to now upgrade my digital asset. I've got to update the website. I just now updated my website just here in December. I just rolled out an e-commerce store on my website, just rolling it out. Now I'm getting to that point, like, all right, now I've got to get it actionable. I've got to start looking at, all right, what I did before, is it relevant to what I'm going to do, going forward? And I see that as like, I need a professional like Brenton to help me because I don't know what I don't know. We say $1,500, that's just money. It's just money. But he's like, no, if your goal is to make 5, 10, 15 grand a month, just throwing out numbers, this is what you're going to have to do to get to that level. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and let's say so if you're going to work with someone like me, and let's say your website is so bad that I can't, it doesn't matter how much feedback, there's just like functional errors. Let's just say there's a lot of issues. Working with someone like me, if it's to that point, we'll actually create a landing page, like just for the things that we're trying to do, and we'll separate the landing page away from your brand. And so there's no header or footer. We just want the person to be intrigued enough to just reach out to you. And then you can then have an email conversation. This is for like lead generation, right? And then you can have a conversation with that person. So that might be tough for the average person to know. It's at that point where I actually need to switch over to a landing page, and then what goes on the landing page. That's a whole thought process. So another side note on that.
No, what you're talking about is so important because I've seen a lot in the last year of trend, talking about trends now, of they call them like for sales, click funnels, right? They're sales funnels. A lot of, I want you to help us understand what those are because I had this conversation with somebody. You probably be better off landing page that's more directed to the service because you might have so much other stuff on your site. It's talking about other things. You don't want to create confusion. But talk to us about ClickFunnels and how that works.
Yeah, I tend to not use ClickFunnels. I've used it a couple times, and I know it's a really good. I'm trying to think how to like say this. It kind of like boxes you in a way, right? So they put the guardrails around you, which I prefer to be a little more free with my landing pages and have full control. And also from a design perspective, I think it's also a little limiting. But to go into like WordPress and then be able to create the landing page from scratch is definitely what I prefer. But typically for a good landing page, when I'm working on landing pages for a client, we'll definitely take off the header and footer, right? So that there's no decision paralysis that can happen. I think sometimes you'll have a prospect that lands on the website and you got all these different services, you got about us page, and then you maybe contact us is somewhere hidden in the footer, depending on the website design. And so I think if someone is looking for something very specific and they can't find it and they have to search, and they're most likely going to leave. They're not, this is too much effort. I'm going to go to the next person on Google. And if I can find it easily, then I'm going to work with them, whatever it is, whether it's pricing that they're looking, maybe how do I reach out to this company, whatever it is, if they can't find it. But the landing page will streamline all that. So it's all very easy to see and it's all in the right spots.
Interesting. Less clutter, right?
Yeah.
And more creativity for what you're saying. So I don't think some people understand ClickFunnels it's a guided process, right? It's more guided what you want it to do. But a lot of this just depends on what your goal is. What are you trying to accomplish? And using it from a user experience layer. What is the user experience? What are they used to? How do they dive in? And what is it that you're doing? I think that's so important. Last question before I leave you. And this is more or less where I like, hey, I want to give you the mic. I want all the things we've talked about and understanding our audience out here, because I believe right now, understanding digital marketing is changing. It's changing again. It's morphing. It's changing. It's becoming more scientific than it is artistic. And I think our audience needs to understand that. And then it's more financial than it's ever been, and understanding how to move that forward. So with all that said, help us to tell that story. Why do we need to come to Brenton to get to our next level?
Yeah. There's a lot of numbers to your point. It's extremely scientific, and you really have to understand how to take what you know in the real world as a human and what you know about your business, and you need to marry that with the algorithm. You need to combine human with machine learning. And so there's a lot to these algorithms to understand like how to get the most out of them. And like a big piece of that is definitely your campaign optimization, right? So what are you optimizing towards? And you can only choose one thing to optimize towards. And so in order to optimize towards, let's say, revenue, right? Because most businesses want revenue. In order to optimize for that, you have to then declare on your website when is revenue being received. And that's a whole technical process, right? Now you have to tag things up on the website, and the average person cannot do that. And so you have to get that piece correct in order to teach the machine learning that this is the event that took place in the past, and I want more of this based on the tracking that you tagged up on your website. So little things like that, like if you have technical errors and you're not feeding the right data, you don't have the right data set that you're feeding into the machine learning, you're automatically doomed. So working with an agency like us, we definitely take care of all that. That's like the first thing we do is we get the right data in there so we can trust the data. It helps the machine learning. And then also on a human level, we can make good decisions, informed decisions. So I would say that's why you want to work with an agency.
And your expertise, is your expertise more Google ads? Is it Facebook ads? Is it more social media? What would you say?
Yeah, we used to offer like web development and organic social media, and some other stuff, and we stopped offering that, and we as an agency decided to get really good at just Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, SEO, and email marketing, and that's it. So that's and we've gotten extremely good. We're not, our attention's not diverted into other things, and we're just highly focused on paid SEO and email.
I like that. I like that. So let the audience know, how do we contact Twibi?
Yeah, so I'll in the show notes, I'll send you some links. You can either in the show notes, I'll give you a Calendly link so people can reach out to me, schedule 30 minutes. And you can go to our website. It's twibyagency.com. And you can find me on LinkedIn. Just search Brenton Thomas. Pretty unique name, Brenton. And you can add me there.
Yeah. I think that's how we are initially linked up. It's one of the ways that we did. Now, do you do any brand audits also? Do you do a brand audit for somebody like that at first initial consultation? Is that a brand audit or is that something different?
We do. It's more of like a Google Ads audit. We'll go more into your ad account, which we will look at your demographics. But it's not specifically quite a brand audit, but it kind of like it starts to creep into that area a little bit, but it stays more in the realm of a specific channel. So like an audit of SEO or an audit of Google ads, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads.
Nice. So you got to get the precursor to understanding what you're going to need to move it forward to get the engine operate. Man, I love this. I love this conversation. I think you quantify the why you need to spend, the why of if you're going to make an investment, if you're going to be in business. And in today's business, if your digital platform is not up to snuff, you could be out of business very, very quickly without even understanding why. I think you definitely framed the story of why. I thank you for being here on the show, especially in the Brand Master Series. You have identified yourself as a brand master, and I really, really appreciate that. If your audience wants to contact me, they can do so at 5-Star BDM. That's the number 5-Star BDM. That's B for brand, D for development, Infomasters.com. This has been wonderful. Thank you so much for being with us today on the Follow Brand Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
Follow the Brand TV broadcast host, Grant McGaw, as he visits with top executives and entrepreneurs to find out their secrets of success with their personal brand. Follow the Brand TV broadcast host as he focuses on brand development to build better relationships, bring value to your business, relationships, and career. You will enjoy listening to each episode that is tailored to speak to you directly. If you're looking for this type of clarity in terms of building your brand, you have tuned into the right station. Each episode will help you to shape a conversation in the 5-Star BDM network of 20,000 professionals and become a springboard for your corporate engagement and business opportunities. Each guest will frame their story in the areas of personal branding, business development, career development, financial empowerment, and technology innovation. Grant McGaw explains why he is the CEO and owner of his own professional career. Grant is an accomplished business leader and entrepreneur who wants to give back to individuals to grow their personal brand strategy. Tune in as he weaves his story about new possibilities, while to you exceed expectations. If you love storytelling, this show will make for fun.
5-Star BDM, Brand Development Masters, is a professional consulting and advisory group keenly focused on business development services for the small to mid-sized business and entrepreneurs. Although every business is unique, they often share business development challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. Services include process improvement and operations, digital strategy and transformation, business intelligence, digital marketing, and personal branding. Our business and personal branding company has helped a number of professionals and organizations to optimize and grow. This results in more business, more opportunities, better reach, positive outcomes. Visit www.5starbdm.com today to learn more.
Hello, leaders and visionaries. Are we ready to exceed our ambitious goals for 2024? At 5-Star BDM, we're your strategic partners, not just futurists. To the trailblazers in business development, healthcare, and IT, you need a path to realize your vision for growth. Our tailored consulting services are your stepping stones to success. We empower you to build brands, deliver results, and captivate audiences. In healthcare and IT, innovation is progress. At 5-Star BDM, we ensure your operations beat with precision, efficiency, and care. Join those who shape the future. Connect with us today. Let's set the stage for a defining quarter. With 5-Star BDM, it's not just business development, it's a beacon of excellence.
The Black Business Expo's mission is to raise funds for high school seniors going to college or K-12 entrepreneurs. This expo is a fundraiser for students. Please, you may go to www.blackbusinessexpousa.com to donate to the scholarship fund or use the Cash App at $BBXUSA. Our goal is to give laptops and up to $5,000 to 10 students. Students can register online at www.blackbusinessexpousa.com. Every dollar counts. Please donate to the Black Business Expo USA Scholarship Fund. Tune in for our next show or click on our website at www.5starbdm/followthebrandtv. Thank you. Hey everyone, it's Grant McGaw, CEO of 5-Star BDM and host of the award-winning Follow the Brand podcast and TV series, where I help you to build a 5-star brand that people will follow. My genius is personal brand development through intelligent communication and helping you achieve your business and career goals. I am a requested speaker on digital technology and brand development issues. I want to work with you to increase the value of your current opportunities while attracting new ones. Every one of you is unique, and we all share challenges that can be addressed through smart branding. As a super connector, I work with you as an executive coach to guide you along the complicated business and career development road, providing the enhancement tools and information you need to succeed. Together, I will help you succeed in today's challenging business climate. I will evaluate and measure your progress. Best of all, I am right alongside you every step of the way. Build the brand called you. Genius.